Judge Helena Martinez sits at her bench reviewing the case file before her. The courtroom is tense with anticipation. Three women sit at different tables, a mother, a daughter, and another young woman. The atmosphere crackles with barely suppressed hostility. Miss Vanessa Coleman, you've brought your daughter, Miss Tasha Coleman, to this courtroom because you say she has been involved with two different men and now refuses to acknowledge which one is the biological father of her 3-year-old son, Isaiah. You say this uncertainty is tearing your family apart and affecting your ability to bond with your grandson. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. For 3 years, I've watched my daughter play games with two men's lives and with my grandson's future. She won't take responsibility. She won't tell the truth, and I'm tired of watching this child suffer because his mother won't admit what she's done. Ms. Tasha Coleman, your mother has some very strong accusations here. How do you respond? Tasha stands, her jaw set defensively. Your Honor, my mother acts like I'm the villain here, but she doesn't understand what I went through. I was 20 years old, confused and dealing with two men who both wanted me but neither wanted to commit. I made mistakes, yes. But I'm here now, aren't I? I'm trying to find out the truth. And the second party in this case, Ms. Jennifer Martinez. You claim that Ms. Coleman deliberately tried to trap your boyfriend into fatherhood by claiming he was Isaiah's father when she knew there was doubt. Is that your testimony? Jennifer stands abruptly. Your Honor, that's exactly what happened. Tasha knew my boyfriend Marcus had a good job and a stable life. She knew Devon, the other guy, was unemployed and had nothing to offer, so she picked Marcus as the father on her birth certificate without even knowing for sure. She used my man, Your Honor, and I'm here to expose the truth. Judge Martinez raises her hand for calm. All right, we're going to go through this systematically. Miss Tasha Coleman, let's start with you. Tell me about your relationship with these two men. Tasha takes a deep breath. I met Devon first, Your Honor. We were together for about 8 months. He was exciting, you know? Spontaneous. We had this intense connection. But he couldn't keep a job, was always talking about his big dreams, but never doing anything to make them happen. We fought a lot about his lack of ambition. And during this time with Devon, when did you meet Marcus? Marcus was Devon's friend, actually. They worked together briefly at a warehouse. Marcus would come by sometimes when Devon and I were hanging out. He was different from Devon. Responsible, had goals, was going to school at night to get his business degree. So you started a relationship with your boyfriend's friend? It wasn't like that at first. Devon and I broke up because I caught him texting other women. I was hurt and angry. A few weeks later, I ran into Marcus at a grocery store. We talked. He asked me out for coffee. One thing led to another. How long after your breakup with Devon did you start seeing Marcus? Maybe 3 weeks. A month at most. And you were intimate with Marcus? Yes, Your Honor. Were you using protection? Tasha hesitates. Not every time. Vanessa, Tasha's mother, speaks up. Your Honor, can I say something? Go ahead, Ms. Coleman. She was still sleeping with Devon during this time, too. That's what she's not telling you. My daughter was bouncing back and forth between both of these men like they were toys. And then she got pregnant, and suddenly she had to pick which one she wanted to be the father. Tasha whirls on her mother. You don't know what you're talking about, Mama. You weren't there. I know because Devon told me. He came to me, Tasha, because he was confused. He said you called him crying, saying you missed him, asking him to come over. And he went, multiple times. Even after you said you were done with him. Judge Martinez intervenes firmly. Ladies, please. Miss Tasha Coleman, is your mother correct? Were you still involved with Devon while you were also seeing Marcus? Tasha sits down slowly, her defiance crumbling. Yes, Your Honor, I was confused. I still had feelings for Devon. I thought maybe if I gave him another chance he'd change, but then Marcus was there being everything I thought I needed. I was young and stupid and I made bad choices. When did you discover you were pregnant? I was about 2 months along when I figured it out. I took 3 tests because I couldn't believe it. And what did you do when you found out? I panicked. I sat in my bathroom for like an hour just crying because I knew I didn't know who the father was. Did you tell both men? I told Marcus first. He was happy, Your Honor. He said we'd figure it out together, that he'd be there for me and the baby. He started talking about us getting an apartment together, getting married eventually, and Devon. I didn't tell Devon right away. I was scared of how he'd react. I waited another 2 weeks before I told him. And when you finally told him, what was his response? He accused me of trying to trap him, said there was no way it was his because he thought we were broken up. But, Your Honor, we weren't completely broken up. We were on and off complicated. Jennifer stands again. Your Honor, may I speak? Go ahead, Ms. Martinez. Thank you. Marcus told me everything when this all went down. He said Tasha was obsessed with him, constantly calling him, showing up at his job. She saw him as her ticket out of her situation. My man has a decent job, drives a nice car, has his own place. Devon was living with his mother, unemployed. It's obvious why she picked Marcus. Ms. Coleman, did you deliberately choose to name Marcus as the father because of his financial situation? No. Yes, his stability mattered to me. I wanted my son to have a father who could provide. But I genuinely believed Marcus was the father. The timing made more sense with him. Explain the timing. Devon and I last had sex around mid-January. Marcus and I started being intimate early February, and we were together frequently through February and March. When I calculated my due date with my doctor, it pointed more toward Marcus. But you can't be certain. Tasha looks down. No, Your Honor. I can't be 100% certain. Vanessa speaks up again. Your Honor, I need you to understand something. My grandson Isaiah is 3 years old now. 3 years! And for 3 years we've been living with this uncertainty. Marcus has been in and out of the picture, sometimes treating Isaiah like his son, sometimes pulling away because of the doubt. Devon shows up randomly, demanding to see the baby, then disappears for months. And Isaiah is the one who suffers. Ms. Vanessa Coleman, have you met both of these potential fathers? Yes, Your Honor. I've met them both multiple times. And what's your impression? Honestly, I like Marcus. He's a good man. He's tried to do right by my daughter and Isaiah, even with all the uncertainty. Devon is... well, he's got potential, but he's not reliable. He makes promises he doesn't keep. So you're hoping the results show Marcus is the father? Vanessa pauses. I'm hoping the results show whoever the biological father is will step up and be a man about it. If it's Marcus, great. If it's Devon, then he needs to grow up and take responsibility. My grandson deserves to know who his father is. Judge Martinez turns to Jennifer. Ms. Martinez, you mentioned that Marcus has been in and out of Isaiah's life. Can you elaborate on that? Yes, Your Honor. At first, when Tasha told him she was pregnant, Marcus was all in. He went to doctor appointments, helped her buy baby stuff, was there at the hospital when Isaiah was born. But then the doubts started creeping in. His family started asking questions, pointing out that Isaiah didn't look like him. What happened then? Marcus started pulling away. He still saw Isaiah, but less frequently. And then I came into the picture about a year ago. Marcus and I started dating, and I encouraged him to get a DNA test because I could see what this uncertainty was doing to him. He was emotionally invested in this child, but he was also terrified that he might be raising another man's son. So you pushed for this test? I did. And I'm not apologizing for it. If Isaiah is Marcus's son, then Marcus will step up 100%. But if he's not, then Marcus deserves to know so he can move on with his life. With me. We're talking about getting engaged, Your Honor. We wanted to start our own family, but we can't do that with this hanging over us. Tasha stands up angrily. You're so selfish, Jennifer. This isn't about you and your future plans. This is about a little boy who knows Marcus as his daddy. Marcus wouldn't be in this position if you'd been honest from the beginning. I was honest. I told Marcus there was a small possibility it could be Devon, but I believed it was him. A small possibility? You were sleeping with both of them in the same month. Judge Martinez bangs her gavel. Order. Both of you sit down. We're not going to have shouting matches in my courtroom. Both women sit glaring at each other. Miss Tasha Coleman, I want to understand something. You say you believed Marcus was the father. Why did you believe that if you knew you'd been with both men in a close time frame? Because Devon and I had only been together once in January, and it was right at the beginning of the month. But Marcus and I were together multiple times starting in early February. When the doctor calculated my due date based on my first ultrasound, it lined up more with the Marcus timeline. Did you share this information with both men? I told Marcus that I was pretty sure he was the father, but that there was a small chance it could be Devon. I told Devon that I didn't think it was his because of the timing. And what was Devon's response? He didn't believe me. He said he thought I was lying because I wanted Marcus to be the father. He said he was going to fight for his rights if the baby turned out to be his. Has Devon been involved in Isaiah's life? On and off. He's seen Isaiah maybe a dozen times in 3 years. Sometimes he goes months without asking about him, then suddenly he shows up demanding to spend time with him. Vanessa interjects. Your Honor, Devon is unreliable. Last Christmas, he promised Isaiah he'd come to our family dinner and bring him a present. Isaiah waited by the window for 2 hours. Devon never showed up, never called, nothing. My grandson was heartbroken. Ms. Martinez, you mentioned that Isaiah doesn't look like Marcus. Can you elaborate? Jennifer nods. Marcus is dark-skinned, dark eyes, has these really distinctive features. Isaiah is much lighter-skinned, has hazel eyes, different facial structure. Everyone who meets them comments on how they don't look alike. Tasha responds defensively. Isaiah looks like my side of the family. My father has hazel eyes. Genetics are complicated. That's true, Ms. Coleman. Genetics can be surprising, which is why we do DNA tests instead of making determinations based on appearance. Judge Martinez opens a folder. I've asked both potential fathers to submit to DNA testing. Ms. Martinez, can you tell me about Marcus's involvement in that process? Marcus was nervous, but willing. He submitted his DNA sample 3 weeks ago. He's been a wreck waiting for the results, Your Honor. This has consumed him for the past year. And Devon? Ms. Coleman, what about Devon's participation? Tasha looks uncomfortable. Devon was harder to track down. He moved to Atlanta about a year ago for a job opportunity. He said he'd do the test, but it took him 6 weeks to finally go to the lab. Why the delay? He said he was busy with work and that he didn't think it was necessary because he was pretty sure Isaiah wasn't his. But I finally convinced him that we all needed to know for sure. Judge Martinez looks at all 3 women. Before I reveal these results, I want to make something clear. This 3-year-old boy deserves better than what he's gotten. He deserves to know who his father is. He deserves a father who shows up consistently. He deserves parents who put his needs above their drama and their egos. No matter what these results say, that needs to change. Do you all understand? Yes, Your Honor. The judge opens the DNA results envelope. According to DNA Diagnostics Laboratory, in the matter of paternity for 3-year-old Isaiah Coleman, we have tested 2 potential fathers, Marcus Davis and Devon Thompson. The courtroom is silent except for the sound of papers rustling. The results indicate that Marcus Davis is excluded as the biological father. The probability of paternity is 0%. Jennifer gasps and covers her mouth. Vanessa closes her eyes. Tasha stares straight ahead, frozen. However, Devon Thompson is the biological father of Isaiah Coleman. The probability of paternity is 99.99%. Tasha breaks down crying, her face in her hands. Vanessa puts her arm around her daughter despite her earlier anger. Jennifer looks relieved but doesn't celebrate. Ms. Coleman, I know this is difficult. Tasha looks up, tears streaming down her face. I really thought it was Marcus, Your Honor. I really did. And now Isaiah is going to lose the only consistent father figure he's ever known. That's not necessarily true. Marcus can still choose to be in Isaiah's life if he wants to. But you need to understand that the real work begins now. You need to contact Devon and make sure he understands that he has a son who needs him. Vanessa speaks, her voice thick with emotion. Your Honor, what if Devon doesn't want to step up? What if he continues being unreliable? Then you document everything. You file for child support. You create a custody arrangement through the courts. You protect Isaiah legally. And you make sure that boy grows up knowing that his father's failures are not his fault. Judge Martinez turns to Jennifer. Miss Martinez, I hope you understand that Marcus has an emotional bond with this child, even though he's not the biological father. If Marcus wants to maintain a relationship with Isaiah, I hope you'll support that. Jennifer nods slowly. I will, Your Honor. I don't want Isaiah to suffer. He didn't ask for any of this. None of you did, really. You were all young and making choices that seemed right at the time. But now you have to think about Isaiah first. Always. The judge closes the file. I'm going to order that Miss Tasha Coleman provide Devon Thompson with a certified copy of these results within 14 days. I'm also going to order that she file for child support and establish a custody arrangement within 60 days. This child deserves legal protection and financial support from his biological father. Yes, Your Honor. And Ms. Coleman, I'm going to recommend family counseling for you and your mother. You two need to heal your relationship so you can work together to support Isaiah too. Vanessa nods, squeezing her daughter's shoulder. We'll do that, Your Honor. This case is closed. I wish you all clarity and peace as you move forward. As the women gather their belongings, Tasha approaches Jennifer hesitantly. Jennifer, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything. For the lies, for the drama, for dragging Marcus through this. You were right about me not being honest. Jennifer looks at her for a long moment. I accept your apology. But Tasha, you need to do better. For Isaiah, he's the innocent one in all this. I know. I will. As they leave the courtroom, Vanessa walks beside her daughter. Baby, I know this isn't the outcome you wanted, but at least now you know. Now you can move forward. Mama, what if Devon doesn't want him? What if he just disappears? Then we raise Isaiah together just like we've been doing. That boy is loved, Tasha. He has you. He has his aunts and uncles. Where is family? And Devon might be his biological father, but family is more than DNA. Do you think Marcus will still want to see him? I don't know, baby. I hope so, but that's his decision to make. They walk out into the bright sunlight, uncertain about the future, but at least armed with the truth. Behind them, the courthouse doors close, marking the end of one chapter and the beginning of another in young Isaiah's life.